Frank Motek, known as the voice of business news in Los Angeles, and to us in Long Beach, the voice for the most inspiring students. He anchors Money News on CBS All News Station, KNX 1070 News Radio, and he hosts the top-rated KNX Business Hour. His radio and television experience includes KTLA 5, CBS 2 Los Angeles, and the Nightly Business Report on the PBS network. It speaks to how important we are to Frank that he comes to Long Beach year after year for this event with his schedule. In fact, my sources tell me this evening is one of his proudest moments year after year. Please welcome Frank Motek.
Thank you very much, Mike Murray. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests. It's a tremendous honor to be with you here once again. We start with the traffic report. Traffic is heavy, right? You notice that? And reminded on the way over again that 710 freeway is called that because it goes 7 or 10 miles an hour. But we all made it. And also congratulations on passing the first test of the evening, finding the parking lot, the hotel, and the entrance. It's like to turn the place completely upside down since we were last year. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to say on the long drive down to Long Beach this evening, I thought about being part of this wonderful event once again and pondered the word inspiring, which comes from in spirit. You'll find a magnificent spirit here tonight. Inspiring means encouraging, animating, refreshing, enlivening, exhilarating, stirring, uplifting. All of these words describe the students who are being honored here tonight, the parents, the teachers, the administrators, the Long Beach Unified School District, and of course all of you who are supporting this wonderful occasion. Thank you very much for being part of this great event. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 20th Most Inspiring Student Dinner. And this year's event celebrating the most inspiring students in the entire school district, along with the Basketball Hall of Fame coach George Raveling's inspiration. And Deneen Dyson and the Soul Foundation bringing us the sound of inspiration like few could will make this one of the most inspiring dinners we've ever had in the history of this event. This is a celebration of accomplishment that we all look forward to each year. The students you'll see come up tonight inspire each and every day. Congratulations to all of our most inspiring students and their families. I'm not sure there's a better or more lasting gift than inspiration. Mike, let me turn the program back over to you.
Thanks, Frank. That'll be all the applause Frank needs the entire evening. I have a voice just like Frank, but I don't want to use it because it really doesn't sound exactly like. There was little doubt that one of the most inspiring people in Long Beach is former Mayor Beverly O'Neill. She was there when the city of Long Beach needed her the most when an important element of the city was removed. Long Beach was known as a military city, and the military was the party. As she often did, she looked to Mae West for inspiration, who said, "He who hesitates is a damn fool," and she inspired the city to get on track and recreate itself, and we did. She had the same impact as Superintendent-President of Long Beach City College. Mayor O'Neill inspired a city and a college to move on. Let's give her a most inspiring student. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, former Mayor Beverly O'Neill.
Good evening to all of you, and I'm going to ask you to just not chew too loud for a couple minutes. This is one of the special evenings. I can still hear you. You're chewing too loud. This is one of the special evenings of the entire year. This is a night when we give recognition to people that don't necessarily get a lot of recognition. You will love this evening. When you think that we are going to have one inspiring student from every school in the city of Long Beach, you know that you are sitting with very special people. In the city of Long Beach, there are over 81,000 students. There are over 84 schools. That's for Lakewood and Signal Hill and Avalon, Long Beach. When you think that there's one for each school, there are 84 people in this room that deserve our attention. I want you to look around at your table, and I want you to zero in on the one or two students that are the most inspiring students. I want you to smile. I want you to look happy, and I want you to give them applause right now. They need this. They need to know how important this night is. And I love to walk around a little bit because I see some dad thinking, what's my kid doing here? I don't know. I don't understand this. What's happening tonight? How come there's so many people here? But you've got to know that you have the most inspiring student at your school. And what an honor that is. I also want to recognize the parents. If you are a parent or a relative of an inspiring student, just wave your hand. Wave it up high. Wave it up high. Not only do we have the parents and relatives, but we also have the outstanding principals and teachers of these students, and I want them to raise their hand. Yes, yes. Thank you to all of you. What does it mean when you're the outstanding student? It means that, number one, you have been selected out of the whole school to represent your school tonight. You have been represented for all of the other students at your school. Wow. And you know what that means? All of a sudden, other students look at you and they want to know you. They want to be your friend. Because all of a sudden, you have been selected to be recognized by the City of Long Beach and the Unified School District as an inspirational person. So one thing I just want to tell you, the way you are today is the way I want you to continue to be. The way you are today is what is inspirational. So I want to congratulate you. Tonight is your night, and tonight we are all honoring you. So to be an inspirational student is really, really a big deal. Thank you very much.
It's our tremendous privilege to introduce one of the honored guest speakers here this evening, Bobby Smith. The result of her education career is that she has a school named after her, the Bobby Smith Elementary School. First African-American elected to the school board, where she served 4 terms as president. She has a master's degree in library science and was a librarian at Long Beach City College for more than 20 years. Bobby will now be delivering some inspirational thoughts this evening. Please welcome to the stage, Bobby Smith.
Thank you. This is so exciting to see such a full house tonight. I'm reminded of a story that a new priest was coming to town. And the person who was to introduce him was late. And they waited for some time, and finally the new priest just decided to introduce himself and get on with the evening. And he said that when he came to the parish, he was met by this individual, and it happened to be his first confession. And he went on to tell that all of the sins that he had confessed, that he had cheated on his wife, he had embezzled some funds, he had done a number of terrible things. But the priest, of course, forgave him. But he thought my goodness, I'm going to really have a time here in this parish if all of the parishioners are going to be like this. And, but he said, you know, things worked out very, very well. And just as he went into his address for the evening, the person came who was to introduce him. And he said, you know, I was so happy that the priest came, and I was his first confessioner. So it's terrible to be late. And I don't have anything to confess. But I just want to say I'm thrilled to be a part of this inspiration for our students. It's just outstanding. They have gone through a number of hardships, and it's so great that they have overcome, and they are on their way to becoming great and important citizens for us. And one of the things that I would say to them is to be the very best that you can be. And I was a young girl, and I love poetry, so I'm always collecting. But this has been one of my favorites. If you can't be a pine on the top of a hill, be a shrub in the valley. But the best little shrub by the side of the reel, be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a bush, be a bit of grass, and some highway happy you make. If you can't be a musket, then just be a bass, with the liveliest bass in the lake. We can't all be captains, we gotta have a crew, and there's something for all of us to do. There's big work to do, and there's lesser to do, but the task you must do is near. So if you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by the size that you win or fail. Just be the best of whatever you are. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Vice President of the Long Beach Unified School District Board of Education, Dr. Felton Williams.
Good evening, one and all. How are we? Good. How are we? Good. All right. You know, this is the 11th year that I've been here at this event. And each year, each time I come, I can't help but feel that this is one of the most important things that we do throughout the entire year. It is so very special to be able to recognize these young folks and all the things that they have to deal with each and every day just to get to school. And for me to deal with that, it inspires me, and I know it inspires a lot of you as well. So I would want to do one thing. I want to say how much we appreciate what these young folks do each and every day, and the motivation they give us to go on and do the things that we have to do. Let's give them a round of applause. I want to take this opportunity to introduce someone that really doesn't need an introduction. He works very hard each and every day to make the school district one of the best school districts in the nation. Our Superintendent, Chris Steinhauser.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. And to all of our young people, you are why we come to work each and every day. This is my 33rd year with the school district, and I was telling the board just recently, I'm more excited today than when I was hired in 1982 on January 4th and started my career at Roosevelt, because of the hopes and dreams that all of you bring that we get to help you with. So give yourselves another round of applause. Here in Long Beach, went to college here, a little boring, didn't leave town because it's the best place in the world. But I have to tell you, we are a great school district because we have so many partners. We have our great partners at Long Beach City, our great partners with the City of Long Beach, City of Lakewood, City of Signal Hill, and Catalina Island, and of course, our university partners at Cal State. And the numerous businesses and foundations and groups that work with us every day. So tonight, we always get to honor one of those individuals and those groups. And I'm here to tell you, it's in your packet about Dr. and Mrs. Jenkins. These two people have done so much for our community. They want every single young person to be the best, as Mrs. Smith said, and they're right there to support them. How many young people in our audience have heard of Gigi the Penguin? Raise your hand, anybody? Yes, Gigi. Well, thank Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins and Dr. Jenkins. They brought Gigi to Smith many, many years ago. And Mrs. Jenkins said to me, Chris, every school needs to have Gigi the Penguin. And now I'm proud to say that about 45 of the schools have Gigi the Penguin. It's a great math program. But they are here to help every single young person reach their potential. They're working with us in the North Palm Beach Math Initiative to make sure that more young people can be successful in calculus, more kids can take AP courses, and it's because of individuals like Dr. Jenkins and Mrs. Jenkins that we are so blessed to be here. So please give them a huge round of applause for coming up to the stage.
Thank you, everyone. I want to thank Chris, of course, for all the things that he does, and also to the school board, the Education Foundation. I want to say thank you to all the teachers, the principals, and the parents. And most of all, to the students that we're honoring tonight, because you are the reason that we're here. I offer my congratulations to you for your hard work, your perseverance, and overcoming all of the odds that you did in order to be here. And I want to thank Superintendent Steinhauser for all the work that he does and for his constant fight to ensure that every child in Long Beach has a chance to a great education. We can all appreciate that. One of the things that I've been doing and that Chris has been so helpful with is a math collaborative that is a cooperation between the Long Beach School District, Cal State Long Beach, and there are many people who make all of these programs happen. But our program, most of all, is based on parent involvement, tutoring, mentoring the students, the constant contact with our educators and administrators, making our students accountable, giving them goals, exposing them to different things in life so that they are ready to go out into the world and to be successful. We have 16, and I just want to say one little small thing about us, is that we have 16 graduates who are seniors this year. They're all graduating, and they're all going to college. I'm just so proud to say that. You don't know what this has taken for us to get to this point. But you know, none of us do anything in a vacuum. There are people around us who help us make all of these things happen. So I have to say, first of all, thank you to Doris Robinson, who's directed the program. She's a former principal here in Long Beach who retired, and I was said to her, she said I retired, and that was a mistake, I'm sure, on her part. Because I said, do I have a job for you? So she has been a very dedicated, and I think that the students are where they are today because of her. And Doris, would you stand, please? And Dr. Carmen Taylor, who is the Vice President of Student Affairs at California State University. This is her first year here at the university, and she was very happy to take our program, and our students will be spending 2 weeks this summer there. So Dr. Taylor, thank you. And of course, Dr. Jane Conley, the President of California State University. Thank you. And also Leon Woods, the man who said, doing his dissertation for his PhD at Claremont Graduate University, he did some research here in Long Beach and decided that this was a very much needed program. So he was the idea behind the program. So I have to say he and I were co-founders, but he just kind of left me in the lurch. Yeah. And I have to thank Dr. Taylor's staff also for all of the things that they do. But you know, education has always been a part of my life and my husband. And so it's always been good for me. And my parents always talked about going to college, get an education. And growing up on a dairy farm in South Carolina, my father always had to have somebody to milk the cows, of course. And there were 7 children in my family. So it was, the incentive was to go to college. But my real problem was that there was 7 of us. So 6 girls and 1 boy. So guess who milked the cows? And that was 365 days a year, twice a day, every day. So that gave me a second reason to think that I needed to go. And I was by far the first in my family to get an education. And that was good. You know, we all work very hard to see that what we can do to help students. And I've witnessed that there's a phenomenal progress that kids can make if they're being challenged, if they have a loving and a caring environment, and if they have a way to express themselves and we allow them to grow and to become the best that they can be. So I think many of our children find themselves having to make their own rules for life. And this is not good. So it's always good to know that we're able to help in that way. So I only want to say to you that my interest is your interest because all of you here have an interest in students. And my motto is to say that if you can save one, you can save one, and you can save one, and you can save one, and I can save one, we can save all of them. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. This is a little short for me. Down here, but we can reach you. You know, there are a couple of things that we've got to come to grips with in the United States. And that is, we've got to expose these students to, they got to have exposure and they got to have opportunity. We've got to recognize the demographic changes in this country. They're happening every day. And they're not going to change. I don't think we should fight it, we should embrace it. If we don't provide a good education for these people, those of us that are going into retirement won't have the money to retire on. So it's in all our best interest to make sure that these kids are getting a good education. And one thing we're going to have to do is start letting them know that there are no entitlements. There are no entitlements. That they should have high expectations, responsibility. And I think as overseers, we've got to be passionate. They know when we are passionate about them. They know when we care for them. We've got to care for them. Every time I give a speech, I try and go back and find out how we are standing along with the other people in the world. We used to be number 1. Then we went to 12. Then we went to 16. Not only at the 24th, we are number 24 in math and science in the world now. So, you know, we're sitting around playing around, but these people in India and China and stuff, these people are studying. They're serious. They're serious, and we have got to get serious in this United States. Because they are the ones that's going to find out a new technology and new things and new this, that, and the other. In the future, we could become a second-rate country. Just think about it. So it's in all our best interest. Look at these kids, it's ours. They're all our kids. We've got to be interested in them. We've got to show compassion for them. We've got to show interest in them. I see some of these people are billionaires. They don't even want to pay taxes. People that making a less than amount to live on. They don't want to give them a raise. Who are we as human beings? Where are we? Why are we like this? Where's the humanity? Where is it? We can do better than this. Starting right here. Let's have some compassion for our fellow human beings. They're human. They're human. They have needs just like we have. We can start right here. And let's carry this message. We're better people than this. Don't want people to vote. It's supposed to be a democracy. We can do better than this. And I applaud Dr. Steinheiser and all the people that have this program going for these young kids, these young black males. These people need help. That's the reason that we provide so much opportunity for black males and other people. We do it because it's the right thing to do. It's not rocket science. As human beings, that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to look out for each other, reach out and help somebody else. We improve our own lives when we do that. It makes you feel good inside. How many cars do you need? How many airplanes do you need? How many steaks do you need that got you overweight? But what I'm saying is, let's be serious about who we are as a nation, as a people. What do we want our future to be like? Do we want to be second class? You have these kids coming from Mexico, they just want to come here for an opportunity. That's all they want, an opportunity. They'll lose their lives trying to get here. They want an opportunity, that's all. And our kids here a lot of time, they don't care. They don't care, and the parents many times don't care. You'll have a program, the parents don't even show up. That's not who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be better than that. And we can be better than that. And I challenge all of us. Let's be serious about our life. Let's see what we can do. Because all of us are part of this. When you see a situation that's bad, let's see what we can do individually and collectively to help it out. That's what we're supposed to be as human beings. We're not supposed to be selfish and just think about ourselves all the time. Let's think about other people. Thank you.
Along with President of the Long Beach Education Foundation and Professor of Sports, Business, and Media at the USC Annenberg School of Communication and Journalism, Jeff Felnzer is a friend to each of our students here this evening. He has brought some wonderful speakers to pay tribute to our students over the years, such as Coach John Wooden, Louise Amberini, and tonight's speaker, Coach George Raveling. They are all in their respective Hall of Fames. If there was a Most Inspiring Student Hall of Fame, Jeff would be in the very first class. Please welcome Jeff Fellington.
Good evening, everybody. Mike mentioned me being a Heisman Trophy voter. I feel like I'm looking out at a room of Heisman Trophy worthy people. That's a term we use, is he Heisman Trophy worthy? I feel like I'm looking out at this group of young people that inspire and move us, and they're always doing their best. They've overcome great odds. So I feel like I'm in the presence of young people that are truly Heisman worthy, and it's an honor to be here. When I said goodbye to my sports business media classes at USC before final exams 2 weeks ago, I offered a few thoughts about the road to success. One, dream big and believe in yourself, one and the same thing. Wherever you go, make yourself invaluable. Never get outworked. And four, treat people well, even if they don't deserve it. Treat them well. In other words, I said, just follow the lead of one of our guests earlier this semester, and our guest of honor tonight, George Raveling. George dreamed big and believed in himself enough to accept his first head coaching position at Washington State University in 1972. The first black head coach in then Pac-8 conference history. Pretty crazy, really. A black man from the urban East Coast dropped in the faraway outpost of Pullman, Washington, where he stayed for 11 years, changed the culture, and began building his amazing legacy. Someone once asked George if Pullman was at the end of the earth. No, he said, but you can see it from there. Can you imagine recruiting young basketball players to a town that didn't even have a McDonald's when he arrived? George Raveling could, and did. He has made himself invaluable by being a difference maker, on and off the court, wherever he has coached. Washington State, then Iowa, and USC, and now as Director of International Basketball for Nike, where he still works full-time, advancing the Nike brand around the world, especially in China, at 78 years young next month. George never gets outworked. It's simply not in his DNA. He won't show up for any meeting unprepared because he has a relentless thirst for knowledge. In fact, he usually carries around a bag full of new books to give to his friends. He buys 7 newspapers to read every single day. The LA Times, the LA Daily News, the Orange County Register, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times, and USA Today. He's got to keep working full time to afford that many price of newspapers today. You kidding me? And by the way, his MVN, most valuable newspaper, he will tell you, is the Wall Street Journal. If you just had to read one every day. As for treating people well, he doesn't know any other way. Invariably, George will ask his friends during any visit, "What can I do for you?" And he means it. Now, please turn and take a look at the screens, and we will see we'll take a look at one incredible part of George Raveling's life.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial 50 years ago tomorrow. It's one of the most famous speeches in American history, but there are a few things most Americans don't know about it. For instance, the most famous part of it was not in the original text. It was all ad-libbed. And then there's the question of what became of the text. James Brown has the answer to that.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
It took place right here in this designated spot. As I look back now, I can feel a little nervousness inside my body, a little tremor, because I certainly do it a lot differently than I did then.
50 years ago, George Raveling was a 26-year-old former college basketball star who was a last-minute volunteer, had a coveted spot near the podium during Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s historic speech. But George Raveling's story really begins with what happened after the speech.
Thank God Almighty, we are free.
So with the place going berserk, what did you do when he finished?
Well, people started to stand, and I walked over, and he was just folding the paper, and I said, Dr. King, can I have that copy of the speech?
Did he hesitate?
And he turned and handed it to me. Just as he did, a rabbi on the other side came up to congratulate him, and it was over.
The words Dr. King spoke that day are legendary. But as for the 3 pages they were written on, Raveling simply tucked them away in an autobiography of Harry Truman and forgot about it. Raveling embarked on a successful career as a college basketball coach.
For over 20 years, I never looked at the speech again.
Then one day in 1984, a local newspaper reporter interviewed Raveling about the significance of being the first African-American coach at Iowa.
He said to me, were you ever involved in the civil rights movement? And I said, what kind? And he said, well, what do you mean? And so I told him the story, and he said, you have the speech?
They found the speech right where he left it, tucked in the Truman Book. The typed document has been framed and in a bank vault for the last 30 years.
It doesn't have a title. It's not identified as I Have a Dream. You can simply see the date. You'll see that he pretty much followed the script.
50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today.
Now notice there's an asterisk here on the copy of the speech.
Right, and this is where we now go into the ad-lib part of the I Have a Dream speech.
Because I have a dream.
It's true. Those famous words were ad-libbed, turning a planned 4-minute speech into a 16-minute historic address.
I have a dream.
At age 76, Raveling considers himself the guardian of the speech.
The speech belongs to America. The speech belongs to black folks. It doesn't belong to me.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free.
Scott, Coach Raveling says that he will never sell the speech. As a matter of fact, in his own words, he says some things just don't equate to money. And you know, he's been tested in that regard, having been offered some $3.5 million for the speech a few years ago. He promptly declined.
You know, JB, I wonder, did he say what it was that prompted him to ask for the speech to begin with?
He was quite candid, saying that he wishes he had a better response other than it was just impulse. But given that he was a great basketball player and coach, he showed great court awareness.
JB, thanks very much.
He's on his way to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts this fall, part of the class of 2015. Humble, inspiring, a stellar advocate for reading and education, leader, mentor, friend, and true role model. Let's give a warm Long Beach welcome to our guest of honor tonight, Hall of Famer, George Raveling.
In the interest of equality, I decided I would speak from this podium. I would suspect that a legitimate question, despite the platitudes that were voiced about me, you'd wonder, well, how did Jeff be so successful in getting a coach to come and speak? Well, it was a simple process. Jeff's called me on the phone. He says, Coach, can I ask you a question? I said, yes. He said, do you believe in free speech? I said, of course I do. He said, you're just the guy we need for this affair. I would like to thank the Long Beach Educational Foundation from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to participate in this noteworthy function this evening. An opportunity to honor an extraordinary group of young girls and young boys who have, in their own way, become positive difference makers in their communities, in their schools, in their families. And to each of you young ladies and young men, I say congratulations and best wishes for a ton of growth and success in the years to come. Most of what I would like to speak with you about this evening is more directed toward the various honoring these young people. Each day when I get up in the morning, I present myself with unique opportunities and unique decisions. But basically, there are really two that I'm forced to select from each morning when I get up. I give myself only two choices. I'm either going to be happy or I'm going to be very happy. And based on the selection, that will govern my attitude and guide me throughout the remainder of the day. No matter what happens, that attitude must prevail. And based on that, on these personal attitude adjustments, I'm pleased to say that each of you gathered here this evening, that I'm very happy to be here. As I waited to be introduced, I selectively gazed around the room, and one of the conclusions that immediately came to mind was there were very few people in the room that I knew. And faced with that reality, I quickly concluded that despite the fact that we hardly know each other, we share a common bond. Each of us, young and old, are dreamers. Much like Dr. Martin Luther King, we have a dream. And as we navigate through life's journey, we realize that we're never too old to be a dreamer. As Jeff said, on the 27th of June, I'll be 78 years old, and I still experience childlike dreams. I dream of things that never were and ask myself, why not? I dream of being a positive difference maker in the lives of thousands of people. And with that thought in mind, and with your permission, I'd like to take the next 10 or 12 minutes and talk with these young people around the theme that I would title Dream Makers. So I'd like for you to allow me to share with you what I believe are the fundamental characteristics of a dream maker. And they are these: see it, feel it, believe it, plan it, live it, and certainly be it. So let's kind of retrace our steps and visit each of these fundamental characteristics and see if we can better understand the integral role that they play in each of our lives. So step one is to see it. And as I said, some people dream of things that never were and ask why. I dream of things that never were, and I ask myself, why not? It's only by dreaming that you will ever discover who you are, what you want, and what you can be. Yes, we must see it. From a dream, you can create a picture. And from a picture, you can create a thought. You can make a change, and from a change, you can make a difference. Allow your dreams, young people, to make you positive difference makers. So see it. Step 2, feel it. I challenge each and every individual in this room to dare to be great, to dare to dream the impossible dream, to dare to stand out and be different in a world so much alike. Dare to stand out in the crowd. Dare to think different. Dare to be different. Believe me, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. You can become it, and you'll feel it. Your mind and your body must be consumed with your dream. So feel it. Step 3, believe it. Believe in your heart, for what it offers is hope. Believe in your mind, for what it offers is direction. Believe in your soul, for it offers strength. But above all, for God's sake, believe in yourself. You are the answer. You know how many answers there are in this room right now? This room is filled with answers. This room is filled with solutions. We just have to let our imagination run wild and dare to be different. The hand of God opens the door for those who truly believe in their dreams. Never ever forget that you are more than you see in the mirror. Let me say that again. Never ever forget that you are more than what you see in the mirror. You are braver than you believe. You are stronger than you seem. You're smarter than you think. So believe it. Step 4, plan it. A dreamer without a plan and a deadline is nothing more than a wish. Figure out what you have to do to make your dream a reality, and then simply do it. It's never too late to become the person you've always dreamed of being. So plan it. Step 5, to live it. Every day, no matter how busy you are, be certain to take time to do something that brings you closer to your dream. Do your daily work, and do your daily work so well that a host of heavenly angels couldn't do it better. The last thing any of us want is to die with our dreams inside of us. So live it. Step 6, to be it. Keep challenging yourself to think better, to do better, to be better. Shake things up in your life. Shake things up in your community. Shake things up in your family. You have the gifts. You have gifts that have never been opened and personal journeys waiting for you to explore. You have so much going for you. You are a very, very special person. And the most overt evidence of that is your presence here today, this evening, as an honoree. When the curtain closes on your life and you stand before God, be certain you can say to him, God, I used every ounce of energy in me. My tank's on empty. What a way to die on empty. So be it. Let's quickly take a last review of those magical ingredients housed within the Dream Makers. To see it, to feel it, to believe it, to plan it, to live it, and God for sure, to be it. In conclusion, I'd like to say this. When pursuit of your dreams become difficult, and you become frustrated, and doubt sits in, and it will, hopefully you can find comfort in these closing inspirational thoughts. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. But love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives, but do good anyway. If you're successful, you'll win false friends and true enemies, but succeed anyway. The good you have done today will be forgotten tomorrow. But go ahead and do good anyway. Honesty and frankness will make you vulnerable, but be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and the biggest women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and the smallest women with the smallest minds. But you know what? We got to think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but they follow only top dogs. But we got to fight for a few underdogs along the way. When you spend your life, what you spend your life building may be destroyed overnight, but build anyway. People really need help, but they may attack you if you help them. But you got to help them anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you might get kicked in the teeth, but give the world the best you have. So thank you for allowing me to come here, and I say this with a depth of sincerity. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be present and participate in an honorary ceremony with such a marvelous group of young people who are struggling every day to live their dream, to be the person that God put them on earth to be, and to be dream makers. So thank you very kindly, and it's a deep honor to be here.